Hey guys, figured that I'd do my video finally about this fish tank that I spent a lot of time on and a lot of money. So let me get into this a little bit. That torch, I just got that literally a couple weeks ago. Some Galaxia. I love my gonies. Those are honestly one of my favorite corals. I really like gonies. My favia. I got some mushrooms. These ones are a little bit invasive. I also have some toadstool, I believe. That's another goni. It's a little closed up. I did some cleaning today. I got my nice hammer. I got some SPS there. And then I love my pulsing exania. Obviously, it's kind of out of control. Then I also have this wicked cool clam, that which I really like. But just to talk to you guys a little bit about like what it takes to actually kind of do one of these tanks. For instance, I feel like people make it seem like it's a lot harder than what it is. And I think it scares people off from trying to do this hobby. And honestly, in my opinion, I honestly find this easier than doing planted aquariums. That which, that sounds really weird, but for me, I have never had good success with a planted aquarium. I just don't know if it's because I don't know what I'm doing kind of thing with it. But with this makes sense to me. Planted aquariums do not make sense to me. It would be really cool to do a planted aquarium, but unfortunately, I do not know what I'm doing with that. But anyways, I digress into the whole setup here. So about 2 years ago, I set this tank up. I've been doing saltwater aquariums, I think, for about 5 years now. I have 2 AI Prime lights. I have 2 wave makers in here and a heater. And down below, I got a refugium, good old filter sock, a protein skimmer, that which I really like that protein skimmer. It's like a Bubble Mag 2, I think is what it is. I could be wrong on that. And I also dose soda ash and alpha reef, that which sounds like a really weird setup for people that have been doing reefing for a really long time. So I experienced in this tank anyways that if I dosed the alpha reef, that the calcium and magnesium levels would climb dramatically and the alkalinity would stay around like 9. That which is fine, you can have your alkalinity at 9, there's no problem with that, but then it would start, like the calcium and magnesium never drop down. And that's kind of what I noticed with this tank, with that stuff. So I just dosed the soda ash and I dosed the alpha reef like once every week. That which sounds really weird, but it works. And I will say this, like I would say the most expensive part of this tank, I would say, would be this overflow back here. And yes, that overflow is really dirty. The overflow was probably the most expensive part. I think I paid like $400 for that overflow, and then I drilled a hole in the glass. Like, honestly, besides that, the AI Primes, I bought these back when they first came out, so I think they were like $200. Now they're like $260, I believe, almost. I could be wrong on that too. I don't have a problem with the AI Prime like lights. The only thing that I have an issue with is that it melts the plastic lenses, that which is kind of annoying. And then the things that I would say that like those were like the costly ones, were the overflow and that light. I know that protein skimmer that's down here, I think I paid like almost 180 bucks for that. That light for the refugium, normally I don't have that on right now, but I do for this video. That light was like 30 bucks. And then the dosing heads, I have a 4. I was gonna do individual dosing for calcium and magnesium and alkalinity, so I have 4 heads on that, but I just ended up doing 2 because it's easier. But it's a pretty simple dosing unit that I have there, and I think I paid like $100 for that. I don't remember exactly, it's been a minute. But I have 2 clownfish in here. One of them is Frankie, and the other one is Jefferson. And I have a mandarin, and I forget what that tang is called, but that is like the Scar tang from Finding Nemo. And this tank is actually not big enough for him. At some point I'm going to have to rehome him, and I planned on doing that like here soonish because he's getting kind of big. When we got him, he was really small. So there's that. And then I know the tang police are going to be mad about him being in here. I already know it. But I do know I'm going to have to rehome him. But the fish shop that I go to will take him, and they'll put him in a bigger tank, and then they trade me out for a smaller one, and then I just grow the smaller one up bigger for them, basically, is what I do. And then they don't mind trading me out. Like, it's pretty cool what they do for me there. Speaking of that, the fish shop that's local here, the guys that run that are awesome. They're the ones that hooked me up with basically everything. The only thing they didn't hook me up with was the actual tank and stand. So this stand is a black pine stand. So for anybody that's black pine cabinets, anybody's looking for this specific stand, you can go to Black Pine Cabinets and get it. This aquarium just came from a local fish shop. I don't remember which one. I just bought it because it was cheap at the time. And then, so like those were like the only like 2 things they didn't hook me up with there. Otherwise, the wave makers are from them. The return pump, the protein skimmer is not from them. I ordered that from Bulk Reef. The overflow is also not from them. I ordered that from Bulk Reef. But the 2 AA primes came from him too. So, and like for instance, this is why I like this fish shop. I walked in there this was like a couple weeks ago. I said, hey, do you have any DI resin? And they said no. They sold out. I was like, okay, cool. So I went home, grabbed like my jug for fresh RO DI water, brought it into the fish shop, and he literally was like, oh, hey, this one's on me, dude, because I don't have DI resin. And he hasn't had DI resin for like, I would say about a couple weeks now, and every time I go in there, he hooks me up with fresh RO DI water, which is nice, and not many fish shops would do that for somebody, you get what I mean? Like, and I'm just some random guy that just goes in there and buys stuff here and there. Like, they're not making $1 million off me or anything. But I would say the biggest regrets that I have with this aquarium, and I'm just going to point this out, don't do what I do. So this is a 10-gallon sump. This is nothing fancy, right? Well, there's no room in here for an auto top off. Like, absolutely no room. So you have to have this container on the side for your auto top off. Now, which is fine, but it looks hideous in my opinion. Like, this is supposed to be a piece of furniture in your house. It's supposed to look really nice. And that's the only thing that really bothers me. I feel like if I could redo this, I would do it a different way, so that way that container didn't have to be on the side. And then I'd also say the way I have everything plugged in is, yeah, not my favorite thing. Like, so I have 2 power strips on the back of this thing. And I know what one power strip does. It controls the lights and like the protein skimmer and all that stuff on one. So I don't ever turn that one off. This one on this side though controls all the pumps, the heater, all that stuff. So I turn this one off whenever I'm doing water changes and stuff. But I will say that that's like probably my biggest regrets with this tank is that you can't fit oh boy, sorry guys. I would say my biggest thing is I can't fit my auto top off and then the way the cords are ran. But otherwise, I really don't have an issue with this tank at all, period. And I will say this, yes, I know I have dirty filter socks to the side. That's where I throw them, so that way I can throw them in the washing machine. So every week, I go through 4 filter socks on this. And on Fridays, I normally throw them in the wash, and they're good to go for the next week. And I replace them, I think, like every 3 days or something. Or I don't know, it's like every 3 or 2 days. Or whenever they get clogged up. Because I have an overpowered, like, return pump in here. And if I don't change them out, they just clog. So. But I will say this, the filter socks are not required. The only reason why that I run filter socks is because I don't like cleaning out sumps. I don't like doing extra work to clean out the sump. So, yeah, that guy right there, that Goni is like my favorite. When it's fully out, it looks crazy. And then I will say that I feed brine shrimp. I do AB+. I do dose the AB+ in here. I do Reefroids for the corals. I feed them once a week with Reefroids. I do AB+, I think, like every 3 days. Especially if I notice some struggling corals like this one right here, I'll dose some AB+ for him. And usually that brings them back really good. I will say this, the other day I bought some cleanup crews. I bought like, I think I bought 15 crabs and about 20 snails. So I added some cleanup crews because I have algae problems, and I'm not going to deny this. I feel like everybody that reefs has algae problems at some point or another. I've also had aptasia in this tank, but I have not had, I went through and treated it, and I haven't had any issues with aptasia in here after that. And I will say this, I have had problems with nutrients in here every now and again, but like they're never, I never see them spike, I just see the hair algae, and I'm assuming what's happening is that my nutrients are ultra low, and then I get hair algae. So I actually have to feed more, because sometimes I don't feed like consecutively, like all the time. But otherwise, it looks pretty good, in my opinion. You guys will have to let me know if I'm doing a good job with this or not, but I will say this, you don't have to spend this kind of money like what I've spent. I know for a fact that I've spent a good chunk of change on this tank. The only reason why I spent the amount of money that I did is because it makes my life easier. And if I make my life easier, then I'll want to do it, kind of thing. The easier that you make your like fish tank stuff, the more you'll want to do it. And that's kind of where I'm at with this. Like, I've really enjoyed doing this hobby, at least for the last 5 years that I have been doing it. And if you guys want me to do some more fish tank updates as I kind of keep going, I'll let you know. Yeah, you guys can let me know in the comments and stuff. And then also, like I said, if you guys really want to get into this, like, you really don't have to do what I've done. What I did was, I did this for my own ease of actually doing the aquarium maintenance. Because changing one of these filter socks out or doing something like that is super basic, or checking your levels, and I highly recommend that you guys get a good testing kit. I have a HANA checker for the alkalinity because that's like the easiest one to do with the alkalinity, but the Red Sea ones that they have, like the hydration tests, are really not that bad to use either. And there is cheaper test kits. Those are just the ones that I bought. So you guys don't have to buy those ones specifically, but those are just the ones that I bought. So and I've never had an issue with them. The only thing I will say with like the Red Sea ones is that I've noticed that I don't use all of the test solution before it expires. So just keep an eye out when you buy these to make sure that the solution is not expired. And I highly recommend that you guys get like a notebook and you date. You don't have to time, but date it so that way you know the last time you tested. I have like a little chart on a notebook that I keep for this tank. So that's kind of what I do. I test for alkalinity pretty much once a week. And I test for calcium and magnesium at least once a month, if not twice a month. So I would say you could do your alkalinity every single day if you wanted to. And I do test my pH, and honestly the pH doesn't really drop a whole lot in this tank. It's always at like 8.2, which is actually pretty acceptable for this. So I haven't really had that many issues with it. But anyways, guys, I really appreciate you watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys next time. And maybe we can do some more videos about, I don't know, I got super into RC cars because we have a corgi that loves to chase them around a baseball field, and it's quite hilarious. So if you guys want to see some of that maybe, or some other stuff, I do plan on doing a Christmas ride still, so that's definitely gonna happen. I'll definitely have a video. It probably won't be out on Christmas, but it'll probably be on the day after Christmas. So I'll catch you guys next time.